Woo! Yeah! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on BogRadio.fm. Got my son Gabriel Brown here with me. Welcome to the Marvel Universe.
And yes, sir. And DC too. What's going on? How's it going? It's
good, man.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about part 2 of this earlier this week, and I really got to say, I think that, I think what we said about DC was pretty valid last week.
Yeah.
But I think Marvel is still so ahead, despite the the bombs recently, that if they make a few good movies, I think they could bounce back. You know what I'm saying?
Marvel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they are way ahead of DC. DC has James Gunn now, who was a part of the MCU universe, and he created Guardians of the Galaxy. He did great work with Marvel. Now he's on the DC team, taking over for Zack Snyder. And who knows? Maybe he can revitalize the DC franchise.
Who knows?
We'll see. There's great potential on DC's side to do great films. We talked about it last week. The JLA, Batman is a franchise in and of itself. So
I think we're gonna focus more on Marvel today, because we were kind of talking a lot about DC last week. So we got Wolverine and Deadpool coming up this next month. So that has huge potential to shake things back up, for Marvel.
Well, you look at Marvel on the 26th of July, Deadpool, as you accurately stated, and Wolverine hits the screens. And at the same time, they're going up against DC's The Joker. How do you think those will go up against each other at the box office?
Oh, there's no... honestly, there's really no telling, because The Joker, at least the that specific franchise, or those specific movies, with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, I should say, is very highly regarded amongst DC fans.
He won
amongst
an Oscar.
Comic book fans. He won an Oscar. So there you go. And then on the other side, Deadpool is one of the last few highly regarded superheroes in the MCU, with Ryan Reynolds kind of leading the charge with that. So that's going to make a lot of money as well. I think both of these movies have a lot of potential to kind of go crazy at the box office. But I do think that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, or the Joker sequel, I think it's still a little bit of a niche. Okay. That a lot. I think Joker, the Joker sequel, is going to be a fantastic film. Fundamentally, I think it'll be a fantastic film. Fundamentally, that's just going to be a good movie. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be a roller coaster, or just like a theme park ride that everyone just wants to go, and they want to go and ride it. You know what I'm saying? That's the Intimidator at King's Dominion. You know what I'm saying? The line's always super long for that ride.
Right.
So I think off of pure numbers, I think Deadpool and Wolverine's are going to take it, but that's not going to take anything away from The Joker, which I feel like is going to be a fantastic film as well. Like I said, I think it's just going to be a little bit of a niche that Deadpool and Wolverine is going to cast a wider net to comic book audiences.
I like the way you described that about The Joker being a niche. It's kind of almost got a huge cult following.
Right.
And I don't know that it measures up to the DC universe, as it were. It's not all DC fans appreciate The Joker, that iteration of The Joker, albeit a very good film. Again, Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for his portrayal, and he's one of only 2 actors ever to win an Oscar or be acknowledged by the Academy, he and Heath Ledger. Right. So I agree with you about it being a niche. It's going to be a good film. I don't think it will compare. I love the description you gave the Wolverine at Deadpool. It's an amusement theme park ride. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
Intimidator. It's like and so everybody's going to want to go see this film,
yeah.
which leads me to my next question. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine can literally revitalize the Marvel franchise that could approach numbers of Endgame?
I think it's a real possibility. I think it's not out of the question. Deadpool and Wolverine, those guys are. I mean, we said it last week. Those are like the well, how man, what's the term? It's like they're the last line of defense. You know what I'm saying? It's
Pretty much.
this is all or nothing. In my opinion, it's all or nothing. And
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to mess this up. Hopefully they
No.
don't. But if they're able to pull this off, they're able to kind of, breathe life into the MCU with this film.
Yeah.
I think that Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be on that level of Captain America and Iron Man and things like that, because they're effectively going to open the door to so many other franchises that people actually want to see, like the Fantastic Four. Hopefully, they get a better representation. The X-Men,
Yeah.
that's people want to see that stuff.
Yes.
So hopefully, with Deadpool and Wolverine, this is something that people actually want to see. They're going to continue to make things and put characters in the position so that they can be seen, that people will go and actually watch these characters and these stories and things like that, where maybe we can see Hulk versus the Thing here in a few years. Maybe we can see that people are going to watch that. That's going to be something that people are going to watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just something that this movie hopefully will open the door to that down the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching and listening to bogradio.fm. This is the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. And I've got my son, Gabriel Brown, here. We're breaking down the Marvel DC film universe, and some great films coming out. I like what you said about the Hulk versus the Thing. That was a great comic book read back in the 70s. Like, those dudes wrecked. There's no better fight than the Hulk and the Thing. There's not one better than the Hulk and the Thing, period. Right. And I don't care who you match up. And so if they did a film like that, the idea, I don't even know how good the film would have to be. The idea and attempt alone would break box office records.
Easily.
And as you mentioned that, and we're going to get to the Fantastic Four later, because I've got some things I want to say about that. Coming up next year in 2025 from the Marvel Universe, Ironheart. Your thoughts about that?
Ironheart. That I think that has potential. I think that a lot of these characters, there's nothing wrong with Ironheart, the character. I'm just going to say that first and foremost, there's nothing wrong with that character.
Okay.
I think that character is very cool. It's a young African American woman, that's smarter than Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So she builds her own suit of armor. It's really cool. It's a very cool concept. Her comic debut came out when I was in high school, so she's been around for a little bit.
Okay.
She was kind of around that era where Miles Morales, the other Spider-Man, came about. Miles Morales' Spider-Man came around when I was in high school as well. So, that character has been around for at least a little bit at this point. So it makes sense for them to make a movie. Now, me saying that, I'm just gonna go out. I'm just gonna go ahead and just say that, like, a lot of hardcore Marvel fans aren't really about Ironheart.
Okay.
And it's not because of her as a character. It's because a lot of people the people that wrote her stories, because it's getting like really deep. There's a lot of intricacies and nuances to this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, people that wrote her stories, did not do a very good job with her character.
Okay.
And they kind of dropped the ball with a lot of her story, a lot of her personality traits, things like that. To make a long story long, people just didn't like her. They did not like her very much. They didn't like her addition to the Marvel universe.
Okay. Okay.
So that being said, her having a movie is not, I mean, that's cool. I just wonder what the Marvel heads are going to feel with this coming out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Just because of her debut. Her debut was not very smooth. So I just wonder how her movie is going to be in comparison.
Now, the actress that portrays Ironheart, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe her name is Riri Williams, correct?
So Riri Williams is the character's name, is Ironheart's name,
Okay.
not the actress's name.
Okay, it's not the actress's name. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Just wanted to clear that up. So the actress is, okay, her name is Dominique Thorne.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what the actress name is, but yeah. Yeah, Dominique Thorne. Yeah. That's her name.
So that being said, I want to ask you this. Do you think the fact that we have an African American female taking center stage as a superhero that may or may not, in some people's minds, rival Iron Man? I remember back in, oh my gosh, maybe 2018 when the Fantastic Four did an iteration where they had Michael B. Jordan play the Human Torch. And there was huge pushback from the Marvel community because Human Torch is now black, which I thought was jacked up beyond jacked up. So do you think there's some of that going on here with Ironheart?
Absolutely. I mean, 100%. Look. I mean, that's another part of it, right? Where
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of the Marvel fan base is pretty racist, and I'm just being honest.
Wow. I didn't
Um,
know that. Wow.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, what's the what's the problem with having an original character like Ironheart? You know, an African American woman that's extremely smart. You know
Yeah. Yeah.
that's cool. I don't understand the
Very
pushback
cool.
behind that.
It's very cool.
So there, and that's the thing too. It's like there are. I'm not gonna sit here and say reasons. I think they're pretty unrealistic reasons, if I'm being honest. But with you mentioned Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch.
Yeah.
There was pushback against that. Obviously, you just mentioned that,
Uh-huh.
and the reasoning behind it was, oh, Johnny Storm was white in the comics. He's that's a white guy. I don't understand why you had to make a white hero or a white character black just to what pander, just to pander, blah blah blah, whatever the case, right?
Right.
It's like, okay, whatever. You're being weird, but cool. Now we make an original character. She debuted. She is an African. They didn't change her race. They didn't change anything about her. She is just that's who she is. Completely brand new character right out the gate from scratch, built from the ground up.
Yeah.
And people still have a problem with it. It's
Yes.
like, okay, so now it's not about, oh, stop changing things. It's you just don't want a black character in the Marvel universe. Let's be real. Same
Yeah.
thing happened with Spider-Man, right? Oh, Spider-Man's Peter Parker. No,
Yeah.
Spider-Man's Miles Morales. Like that's
What
Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
was there pushback on Miles Morales as Spider-Man?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Huge pushback. Huge pushback. And again, this is the world that we live in. You kind of have to expect that. This is every community. This is every the DC fan base, the Marvel fan base, the NFL, the
Yeah.
NBA. I mean, they're everything that things that a lot of people like, you're gonna have
Yeah.
that argument. You're gonna have that specific type of pushback.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's what happened to Ironheart. That's what happened to Miles Morales. That's what happened to Michael B. Jordan with Johnny Storm. Things like so. That's just unfortunately a conversation we have to have. That's being as realistic as possible. Like this is real stuff. We got a lot of boneheads in the Marvel universe or as Marvel fans. You know what I'm saying?
Well, at the risk of going off into these marshy weedlands, I'll say this: when it comes to race, It's an unfortunate thing, and I know that we had Black Lightning, an African American superhero. We've had Black Panther, which was wildly popular,
Yeah.
centered around a black man, and Wakanda is like a thing, and everybody kind of loves it. And there may be some sneaky people down there in the weeds that hate it because of the black thing, but I kind of find it surprising when you look at the general success
Mm-hmm.
of like Miles Morales' Spider-Man. I don't care who didn't like it. It was really popular and a very good film.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you've had, like I said, Black Panther and Black Lightning and this and that. You've got Falcon. A lot of people push back at Anthony Mackie playing the new Captain America as Falcon, So, but he does so well with it. I think he'll be received. But Ironheart, again, I was wondering about that. I'm surprised to hear that people are kind of not accepting it because of that. Because of the race, and she's a female, so it's unfortunate. I think it's got a shot to be successful because the series is fairly successful, correct? The TV series.
I didn't know there was a TV series for Ironheart.
Yes, apparently there was a TV series that they had actually devised. Let me just check the year. 2023. They came out with it. I guess it wasn't that popular. If you're not 100% aware of it, I guess it wasn't that popular. But they did do a series, and now they're about to do this film in 2025. And so the fact they're actually even doing the film, I guess there's some acceptance of Ironheart, which would indicate she has a shot, but she's going uphill.
Yeah.
Because people are really pushing back. We'll see what happens. That's Ironheart. Marvel coming out in 2025. Definitely going to be rooting for that film. I want to go to Iron Man 4. They decided that that's not going to materialize for many reasons, obvious reasons. I'm sure we can figure out why. Would it have succeeded, however, after the success of Endgame?
Oh yeah, that's a ticket that they could have taken to the bank if they wanted to.
Yeah,
like literally, that would have made
right.
right on the heels of Endgame, the most successful film of all time. Right after that, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to beat Endgame, but that would. You're taking like arguably the most popular character in that movie.
Yes.
In that franchise.
Yes.
Making another film right after the most successful film ever. Yeah.
That's right.
That's a ticket you could take to the bank, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I have no question. There's no question in my mind that wouldn't have succeeded.
And as I said, it did materialize. I think Robert Downey Jr. made the comment. We talked about this on the last show that he wouldn't mind being Iron Man. And he even made the statement. He said, "It's in my DNA. Tony Stark's in my DNA," which, but I'm paraphrasing. But he's Tony Stark to the next level. Like he jumps out of the comic book pages and takes it to another level. Iron Man 4 is not 100% out of the works. Because they are still talking about it. We'll see what happens. We'll go to 2024. Spider-Man. Your thoughts on that one? I guess it's coming out later on this year, Spider-Man.
So that's the new. So yeah, that'll be technically Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's the Spider-Man you're referring to because they're filming that right now, or at least they're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another ticket. We talked about the Spider-Man IP as a whole last week.
Yeah,
that's going to be. I feel like that's going to be, guaranteed success. They'd have to biff it pretty hard to, really mess that up for that to bomb. So I think that's going to be, that's not something that I'm too worried about, money wise, or at least people going to watch it. It's Spider-Man. Especially, with Tom Holland, people love that Tom as Spider-Man, me included. I mean, I think that he's a great Spider-Man, great Peter Parker. So them doing and with this one, I think that it's going to be a focused, Spider-Man film with just Peter Parker, like a classic Spider-Man film. Just him saving New York, no one helping him out, or what. it's just a Spider-Man film, and I think
Yeah.
that's going to be really cool. That's going to be really, really cool.
As we talked about last week, pretty much a slam dunk, that Spider-Man franchise.
That's guaranteed.
Also coming out in 2024, Black Panther: The Eyes of Wakanda. We talked about the fact that it's an African-American, basically, type film and wildly popular. What do you think about this iteration? That's also coming out this year in 2024.
Is it? Oh man, I didn't. There's a lot of movies coming out this year I didn't know about. But I think that with the success of the last two Black Panther movies, um, I think that this character as a whole has enough weight behind it in name alone that a Black Panther movie, regardless if obviously Chadwick Boseman can't reprise his role, unfortunately, but I think Black Panther in name only can put people in seats.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I think that will almost in a Spider-Man kind of way, in a Spider-Man kind of way, where it's like I can almost say it's a guaranteed slam dunk just because it's Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, and as I check the facts on that, it looks like that this is going to be a TV series debut.
okay, I think that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought it was going to be a film. I don't even know if they're going to do another Black Panther film, but the series will debut this year. The Eyes of Wakanda. It should be. What do you think about it as a TV series?
I mean, it's cool. It's cool. There's definitely an audience that will watch that will watch it for sure. I think Black Panther as a TV series, I'm sure people will watch it. It's Black Panther, whether it's on the big screen or in the living room. I'm sure people will watch it.
Absolutely. And we've got in 2025, March of next year, Daredevil. What do you think about this one?
That's huge. I mean, as a film, that's huge. I mean,
Okay.
this is going to be the first. This will be the first film with Daredevil since Ben Affleck back in the day, back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, this will be the first.
And that wasn't a bad film, actually.
No, it wasn't the worst film in the world. I mean, it was definitely a entertaining watch.
Yeah.
But that came out during the era of just like kind of one-off, superhero films, kind of like a very isolated story, just to, I wouldn't necessarily say just throwaway action flick, but that's kind of how it felt as they were coming out back in the day. It
Yeah.
just kind of felt like oh, let's just do like a little action movie and let's do one with Daredevil,
Right.
But now that everything's kind of interconnected, the MCU exists, everything is like, there's a plan for the future and things like that. Seeing his involvement in the greater universe is going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, I thought honestly that Ben Affleck did a better job as Daredevil than he did as Batman. What do you think of that?
That's definitely a take, but I don't know. I think he did generally well with both. I don't necessarily regard Ben Affleck super highly on my list of actors.
No,
But
I don't either.
But I think he did what he could for both roles. So and they weren't bad. Both of those roles he did were not bad. So it's hard to kind of put one over the other just because of the fact that I don't really regard him super highly anyway.
Yeah.
But again, he did fine. He did fine with both.
He did. It wasn't a great movie, like you said. He did fine. I think the idea of Daredevil is way beyond the presentation they gave the first time. Although, again, it wasn't that bad. So you got to get excited about what they're going to do with it now.
Yeah.
Have you heard who's going to portray Daredevil in this film?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Charlie Cox. He's the guy that did the Netflix TV series Daredevil a few years back. Back when when I was in college, like 2017, 2016, 2017, around that time frame.
Okay.
Oh, and he did absolutely amazing. Like that. I'm not one to tune into like Marvel TV series or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
Oh man, I was locked in. I was locked in with that one. Is probably like one of my favorite superhero depictions, live action superhero depictions. And this is across film and TV. And Charlie Cox did a fantastic job with Daredevil. Fantastic job.
You remember there was one TV series that you and I enjoyed watching, and that was Luke Cage. It was pretty
Oh
good.
man, Luke Cage, dude, that one was awesome. Luke Cage was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Luke Cage, man. I want to see them do a film about Luke Cage, man, because, you know, back in the day, I mean, Luke Cage was just kind of like sneaky, similar to the Hulk. Like, you want to mess with Luke Cage, man.
No.
Luke Cage do some damage on you, Jack.
Oh, and the guy that portrayed him, I forget his name, but he did a fantastic job.
He did. He did.
Really, really awesome. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
No, you can't. Yeah, you had to get that character down. They had, I forget the actor's name too, but he was a good black ruffian. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to Fantastic Four. We're talking about that a little bit earlier. That's coming out next July, 2025, July 25th, and at the same time, Superman Legacy. How do you think these two will go up against one another? Which one wins at the box office here?
This one is truly a toss-up, I think.
Okay.
Just because both of these franchises here. Well, I'm not going to say both. I think Superman has had a very high highs, low lows. There's no real in between. It was either like, wow, this blew up, in popularity, or it's just kind of like, people just not really vibing with it.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four has not seen a single high. Not one high has Fantastic Four. and it's been attempted multiple times.
Yeah, it has.
So,
it has.
With Superman, it's definitely a toss up and Fantastic Four, because people look at these IPs or these franchises and they think in their heads, yeah, this is awesome. Fantastic Four is awesome. Superman is awesome. But in the context of the big screen, in the context of going to the movies and watching this,
yeah,
it's kind of like, I don't know, this isn't like an Iron Man we're talking about. This isn't like a Spider-Man we're talking about. This is the Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's definitely gonna be a toss-up. But the only reason I'm saying this will be it's gonna be close, I think, is because if the Fantastic Four and Superman are done right, again, Superman highs, right?
Yeah.
Those highs were really, really high. Christopher Reeve's Superman, right?
The first Superman with Christopher Reeve. Yes.
Yeah. So there are those films where like people regard them pretty highly. At least I think you definitely do.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
So you definitely have that that legacy, right? That Superman legacy there. And Fantastic Four being in the MCU now it's in the MCU. If it's done right, and I really, really hope it's done, it is, that has the potential to skyrocket as well, to finally see that high that I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's because it's the thing. It's the thing. It's Mr. Fantastic. It's Johnny Storm, Human Torch. It's Doctor Doom. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't want to see Doctor Doom done right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
If they do it right, again, going back to my original point, when we were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, hopefully we're going to finally be able to see the things that we want to see on the big screen.
Yes.
So
I totally agree.
Yeah. So it'll be close. Hopefully they do it right. They do both movies right.
One of the things they've never, and I said it like about 20 minutes ago earlier in this show, that I wanted to say about the thing is the problem with the Fantastic Four. They just haven't been able to recreate him in a believable way. Like it's just they just can't seem to do it. I don't know if they've tried, computer generated technology, what have you. I don't know, but the Hulk they got right. I guess the thing is just more complicated, and I think because they haven't figured out how to present him is why that FF4 hasn't been able to take off, because he's the most popular member of the four. The Thing. I mean, we love the the Invisible Woman and Human Torch and Ben Reeves' character. We used to call him Stretcho back in the day.
Oh, Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. We used to call him Stretcho, but Mr. Fantastic. And we like those people, man. They're all good. That's what makes the four. But the Thing was the dude.
Right.
And they never got him right in doing the films. And and again, you mentioned the Hulk versus the Thing. Yes, we want to see those two rumble.
Yeah.
Greatest matchup in any comic book having two superheroes fight ever made. Greatest wrecking rumble you will ever read is the Hulk versus the Thing. And I got to say this too. The Hulk usually beat the Thing by one punch. Like they were wrecking, Jack.
Right.
I mean, dude, they were wrecking. And so, yes, I think they've got to get the Thing right. To your point about Superman, I go back to the first one with Christopher Reeves. And if you look at the top 10 all-time DC films, that Superman is like it's like 18 or 19 at the box office within DC. And I think that's got a lot to do with, higher ticket prices, more than anything. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the best iteration of Superman I've ever seen. Superman 1 with Christopher Reeves, and it rivals Star Wars. I mean, if anybody were to tell you how they would compare it back in the day, they go, it was very close. So yes, I don't think the Superman franchise has quite gotten it right since those three films they did when it first came out. They're not bad films, but they just never went over the top like, the first Superman with Christopher Reeves. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Fantastic Four, I think a lot of people are waiting. Like, we'll come because we want to see if you can get it right. They're going to come. Yeah. Everybody loves Fantastic Four. Every Marvel reader loves the Fantastic Four comic book. So we want them to get that right. And as you said, accurately, if they get Superman right, that would be a great matchup to see which one would, outpoint the other at the box office.
Right.
So we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching and listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm, talking with my son, Gabriel Brown, as we take a look at the upcoming Marvel DC films this year and through 2027. The next one is the Thunderbolts. That's coming out next May of 2025, May 2nd. Tell me a little bit of something about the Thunderbolts. I don't know too much about the Thunderbolts.
So the Thunderbolts, that is going to be a team that I think was either created or has something to do with Thunderbolt Ross. That is the character that, the really old, angry general, or army general that hates the Hulk, always hunting him down. That's that guy. It's him.
Okay.
So that's his name, Thunderbolt Ross. So he's I don't know too much about the team, but I know that the team is named after him. I think he's in the team. He eventually in the comics, he becomes the Red Hulk. Thunderbolt Ross becomes the Red Hulk.
Okay.
So he's essentially, I mean, just as strong, sometimes if not stronger than the Hulk. He doesn't. It's not anger that fuels him. It's heat. The hotter he gets, the stronger he gets. Instead of the angrier, the stronger. So he. So that's basically that. I don't. The members of this team are always changing. Deadpool, I'm pretty sure, was was a member. Wolverine was a member. It's almost like an Avengers or a Defenders team. There's members coming and leaving all the time. So this is definitely going to be. The Punisher was in the Thunderbolts. I'm pretty sure. So there's a lot of a lot of big names, intertwined coming and leaving the Thunderbolts team. So it's a government sanctioned, obviously. Thunderbolt Ross being an army general.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting one. We don't know anything about it other than the date, the release date. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be a pretty cool one to see. Like, I want to see. It would be really interesting to see who the members are for this one.
A lot of these superhero gangs or posses have kind of revolving doors, like the Avengers, the
Hmm.
Defenders. Spider-Man would go in and out of all of them. He never hung around with anybody for long, but he would show. So the Thunderbolts are new to me, though. I don't remember that from back in the day. It must be a fairly new iteration.
Yeah, yeah. So the Thunderbolts definitely came out late 2000s, early 2010s, something like
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
yeah, it was definitely when I was a kid. That's when the Thunderbolts started.
So we've got coming up also in 2025, November 7th is the scheduled release date for Blade. What do you think about that one?
Oh man, Blade is they might shelve Blade. I'm thinking they might shelve it here pretty soon because Mahershala Ali, I don't know if you knew, has walked off the project. He's not part.
No,
He is not
I
Blade
did not
anymore.
know that.
He is not Blade anymore. He's done.
Whoa! What's the story behind? Is there a story behind it?
Oh yeah, apparently there has been so many reshoots, so many rewrites. No one is dead set on anything the movie has to offer. At one point, the finished script or one of the rough drafts of the script had one fight scene in it. One single scene where
One fight with Blade?
with Blade. Yeah,
You can't do that.
no,
That's
not at all.
impossible.
No.
And there's no wonder Marshall Ali walked off because he likes to fight. You
Oh
remember
yeah.
he was the bad guy in Black Lightning, dude. He was brutal. I
Oh
was
no,
like,
he was the bad guy in Luke Cage.
oh yeah, yeah, Luke Cage. He was vicious, man.
Oh man,
I'm
he
like,
was nice.
whoa.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, and no one has come to an agreement with that film, and unfortunately, Mahershala is done waiting. He's done with the constant miscommunication and the constant back and forth and flip
Wow,
floppy nature of the whole process. He's
that's a
done.
shame.
It's over. He walked off the project.
That is a shame, dude. And we were just talking about, the fact that was, I don't know if I mentioned Blade as being, because we're talking about sometimes African Americans in the superhero genre get pushback from fans, not Blade. And,
Oh
not
man,
everybody loved Blade. And that was done by Wesley Snipes.
man, Wesley
Wesley
Snipes did
Snipes
some.
played the original Blade and
Yeah,
he killed it.
he killed it.
Killed it.
He killed it.
And then you could get Marshall Ali to reprise it, and he walks off the set. And that's not something Marvel does. Marvel doesn't mess up like that. I'm shocked to hear it. I'm
Yeah.
shocked to hear that. So you're saying they're going to probably shelve this film?
I don't know what else they're gonna do unless they find someone else to play Blade, which I'm gonna be honest, I would not want to see anyone else other than Mahershala Ali play Blade, especially when they announced it. In my head, that's perfect. That's just another case of perfect casting, in my opinion.
Oh,
Mahershala
100%.
Ali as Blade is like, wow. Like I absolutely 100%. Like he's our generation's Blade. And
Yep.
for them to handle this the shooting of this or the process of making this film so unbelievably poorly
Wow.
is so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate.
That is very odd. And with him alone being Blade is a guaranteed hit.
It's
Just him
guaranteed.
alone.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
Oh man, that's unfortunate news for sure. We're gonna move on to the Avengers. May the 1st of 2026. We've got the Avengers 5, aka Avengers the Kang Dynasty. And that's going to be going up against Supergirl. This is an insult to put these two together, but I'm throwing it out anyway. What do you think?
So quick info about Avengers 5. So they're not naming it the King Dynasty anymore.
Okay.
I guess with the whole controversy with what's my man's name? He was in Creed 3.
He was
Jonathan
the
Majors. Jonathan Majors.
okay.
Jonathan Majors. So yeah, so with the whole controversy with him, unfortunately, they completely canned his character. He is no longer a part of the Marvel universe. He's done. There's no more Kang. He was Kang the Conqueror in the MCU.
What
And
was the issue that he ended up running into? What was the controversy with him? I guess it was his personal life, right?
yeah, it was within his personal life. I think it had something to do with his girlfriend at the time, or whoever he was with. I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend, fiance. I'm not sure, but it was a domestic dispute.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
much it.
Okay. I remember now, and it got kind of in those P. Diddy waters, actually. At least the allegations.
Yeah, the
The
allegation.
allegations were P. Diddy like, and you know what I'm saying. And that's a career killer.
Oh, that'll easily can you. So and that's exactly what happened with Jonathan Majors. So that they are no longer moving forward with that storyline
Yeah.
with him, because he was supposed to be he was supposed to be like Thanos for this new age of Avengers, and he's gone now. So it's kind of bittersweet, right? Because that has happened. Now they're talking about Doctor Doom being the next big bad instead of Kang the Conqueror. So
Okay. I got you.
they're now going down that route,
Okay.
which in my opinion, I'm all for 100%. Unfortunate for Jonathan Majors, I get that sucks, but in the context of what I would like to see out of Marvel, Doctor Doom is I'm down. I'm down to see that.
Hey, look, and we've talked about this many times before. The greatest villain of all time in any genre, I don't care what you call it, it can be DC or whatever else there is out there, and within Marvel is Doctor freaking Doom.
Doc Doom, man, that's it.
Doc Doom, Jack. I mean, if he's the only guy that you just kind of, he's the only villain I could think of that I just kind of like Doom, man. It's just
Yeah.
like you can't catch him. There's nothing you can do with Doom.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Gabe. I think, and nothing against Jonathan Majors, who, by the way, is a very good actor.
Great
And
actor.
I'm sorry to hear that he's gotten himself in the trouble he's gotten himself into. We just have to pray for him. But he, no hate on him. But yes, we'd rather see Doctor Doom. Let's go to this one. I think this is an intriguing film. Vision Quest 2026.
I'm assuming that has to do with the Vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. I've always liked the Vision. The Vision's always been a cool character.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that, because I heard that the Vision was coming out with a TV series, so I think that might be it.
And that might be the TV series. I may have mixed
Yeah.
that one up too. That might be a TV series.
Yeah, that might be it. So I think maybe whatever it ends up being, I'll definitely go and watch it, because the actor that plays the Vision is very cool. I like the actor. I forget his name, but the he portrays the Vision very well. Definitely a memorable character in the Avengers when it was at its height.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely I'd go see it. I'm sure a lot of people will as well. So I have no qualms with that film or TV series.
That
At all.
was the Vision Quest or the Vision was, and I forget the actor's name that portrayed him, but he nailed it. Like
Yeah.
the Vision is a very cool comic book read. Like I've always liked the Vision. The Vision is way cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he nailed that. And I think it probably had a lot to do with the way that they actually did the costume and everything. I mean, they got it exactly the way it is in the comic book, the Vision. And then the way he portrayed it was the way you read it. He did a great job.
Oh yeah. Fantastic
Yeah.
job. And I think I guess a quick side thing as well, but I just really love the fact that the Vision is effectively Jarvis, Tony Stark's AI, or Tony Stark's right-hand man in the MCU, at least. I just love how
Okay.
that's a really, really cool like little add-on, because that the actor that played the Vision, he voice acted Jarvis for years. He's been in the MCU for a long time.
Okay.
he voiced the AI helper that Tony Stark had in like the original Iron Man movies.
Okay.
So he's now a full-fledged character, which and he got to actually act in it as well, which is really cool.
So the actor's name is Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany, that's right. Yeah. Paul Bettany.
And,
Great
and
actor, great actor.
he nailed the role, bud. And what was his sidekick's name? The super heroine that he was in love with.
Scarlet Witch.
She was great.
Elizabeth Olsen. Great actress.
She was great.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. You're right, Gabe. I think this is going to be a TV series. I don't think it's going to be a film in 2026, but nonetheless, I think it'll be really good. I hope they do another movie with the Vision, because he was like awesome in the comic book reads. Okay, let's go to the last one of the day, and that's going to be the Avengers: Secret Wars. That's in 2027. And they've even got the date for it, May 7th. What do you think about the possibilities of this film?
So I don't know. Yeah, I think that Secret Wars is either going to be their next shot at Endgame status. I think Secret Wars is going to be their next like Infinity War or / Endgame.
Yes.
I think that it has a decent chance. I'm not going to sit here and say, and 2027 is years away, or it's nowhere near now, but it's going to be, I've heard so many different things, and it's all speculation. So I'm not sitting here saying that this is what's going to happen, but there have been a lot of talk in the air, basically, that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are both big players in the MCU. People are saying they're gonna continue with their own movies, which is pretty cool. But Tobey Maguire is apparently is going to be a part of Secret Wars, or at least the journey leading to Secret Wars. It's supposed to be characters from different franchises, different universes. It's supposed to be like the ultimate, the absolute, like the pinnacle of the Marvel universe, like the entirety of the Marvel universe. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, everybody that's ever been a character in any way since the inception of the Marvel universe, has something to do with this film.
Oh, wow.
Avengers: Secret Wars.
Okay.
So it's going to be a big one. This is going to be a big one. I think that that's the only reason why I'm saying this has a pretty decent shot at contending with Endgame.
I think it's all about how they set it up. I mean, as you said about what was going to be called the Kang Dynasty, Avengers 5, now they have to kind of figure out how they're going to make this thing work. Bringing Dr. Doom in could actually end up being a better idea. So now we can maintain even a greater momentum towards Secret Wars. And then, you look at some of these new, and maybe not new characters, but characters that we haven't seen so much of, like Ironheart. If they can get any success out of Ironheart, may end up being in the Avengers. Black Panther. What do you think the chances of Black Panther maybe being in the Avengers?
Oh, I think that's a pretty high likelihood. I think it's a pretty high chance.
So you look at Black Panther, then you look at Daredevil. We just talked about coming out in 2025. I think you said his name is Christopher Cox, who's playing Daredevil.
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox, and that Daredevil could possibly be. So it's all about how they walk up to Avengers: Secret Wars.
And there's plenty of time. 2027 is it's a ways away. There's plenty of time to set up movies to build that, to build up to Secret Wars.
And it's a pity that they've got to figure Blade out now. I know there's an actor out there that could play Blade, but they may want to maybe rewrite this freaking script. because
Yeah.
okay, you may well just write the thing again. Okay,
Right.
because you don't get an actor like that to walk out. But
Right.
that being said, he could have played a part of it. But and so we started this conversation comparing Marvel with DC, and I think you would agree after we finished talking, I don't think DC has a chance.
Again, I don't know. I think that DC and Marvel are in a very peculiar place right now, where DC has a very high chance, or it's DC has a new opportunity. They wipe the slate clean, so they have a new opportunity to kind of to make a rise.
Yeah,
And on the other hand, Marvel is kind of scrambling to fix their reputation right now. So they're both in really interesting spots. No one is necessarily like over the other right now. I mean, if we're looking at the stats, we're looking at the numbers. Yeah, Marvel is absolutely destroying DC. There's no question about it. But as they are right now, they're both in like limbo,
yeah,
and it's not necessarily one over the other. Like it's very blurry right now. We have no clue what's really going on. And I don't know. I don't necessarily think that Marvel is, guaranteed to destroy DC just because of that fact. Who knows? Again, we talked about it last week. James Gunn has the capability to kind of, you know, fire a lot of these things off into the stratosphere. We
he does.
really don't know. Superman Legacy might destroy at the box office.
It
This
might.
might be something that we're like, wow, DC, DC is different. Like, what happened to DC? You know,
Yeah,
so that might be a thing. And to be fair, not to say that Robert Pattinson's Batman. I mean, Robert Pattinson's Batman is obviously not a part of James Gunn's DC, but it's already kind of started. I know James Gunn didn't have anything to do with it, but Matt Reeves, the Batman, that destroyed. That was like, wow, this is a breath of fresh air when it comes to DC. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? This is a fantastic film.
it
So
is.
not to say that it's not, DC is not necessarily just, shoveling out bombs. It's not like they're just doing that,
Yeah,
because they're definitely coming out with great films. I only say all that to say that we don't know. We
yeah,
don't know what's going to happen.
yeah.
Just because they're both in really weird spots right now. We just
I
got to
would
wait and
agree.
see.
I would agree. They're both they're both in really weird spots right now. You never would have figured that about Marvel, but they are. And then losing James Gunn to DC, yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee that they're going to dominate over DC. And I think that when you talk about Batman, like now you have a new Dark Knight type of Batman.
Yeah.
This is a departure from the Dark Knight series, but they got it right.
Mm-hmm.
And it may end up being even better if they continue to move in the direction that they're going in, like you accurately stated about Superman. Hey, if they get this right, it could really, really take off. So there's a lot of good films on both sides that are
Yeah.
coming out, and it's going to be interesting to see how they develop.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Uh, and I'm excited about it. And the one that's coming out, like I said, there's more films coming out this year than I realized from and I think they're mostly from the Marvel universe, because I think this year Spider-Man 2024 is coming out. Black Panther, that's a TV series. Ironheart and Ironheart actually might be a TV series too. I got to double check on that.
It might be.
I'm thinking it's a film, but it might be a TV series.
Yeah.
But the Joker, also coming out 2024, that's going to kill at the box
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
And that's another one for DC that's
Yeah.
going to give them, a big time, I don't know, point or two ahead of Marvel coming out of the gate for this year. So we'll see. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out. And all you Marvel and DC fans out there, thank you for hanging out. DC, I hope we didn't offend you. I like DC. I like DC. I do. I've never been one to think they were like in Marvel's, what I'm saying, space. But they're cool. I like DC, and if they play their cards right, they might be able to outpoint them. There's Justice League, every bit as good as the Avengers. Just got to get it right.
Gotta get it right.
And if they fall on their faces again with Fantastic Four, that could hurt Marvel. So it's
absolutely.
It's a lot of stuff. It's going to be exciting, though. I love it. This is going to be an exciting year, 2-3 years coming up. See what both of these franchises do in the film industry. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thanks for hanging out and watching and listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm. Hanging out with my son, talking the superhero genre. You guys have a great day, and may the peace of Christ be with you and your families. God bless you guys.
All right.